Hey everyone, Destroyer here. I'm going to be reviewing the Cold Steel Tokyo Spike for you folks. So, let's get right into it. My initial impression was the knife seemed to be excellent quality, both in the actual construction, since it is a full tang blade, and the fact that it is a 1/4 inch thick steel. I was not worried there as far as durability either. I did question, though, the practicality of such a short knife blade. I believe it's 4 inches in length, and I was just concerned with how realistic this would be as a good stabbing knife. And the more I used it, I honestly don't think I'd want anything longer than this, just because it would be overly heavy, especially given the fact that it is a 1/4 inch thick steel. So those were my initial impressions on it. I wasn't too worried about the stabbing ability. With a 1/4 inch thick steel and a sharp enough point, you'll ram through whatever you plan to stab. As far as function goes, I'll actually show you the test I did here in a little bit, but in my testing it was definitely reliable. Didn't have any issues with the metal bending, warping, nothing, and the blade point was nice and sharp, and the edge itself held extremely well. I didn't even have to sharpen it after the tests, and it still kept its edge very well. So definitely impressed with that, both in durability, reliability, and how effective it was. So quality, I do have to say honestly, I am going to ding it slightly because it is a corded handle. It does not have the grip comfort I would prefer. I tend to prefer the rubber texturized grip. However, that doesn't mean this is a bad grip, just that that's not my preference. For holding on to it, I don't think you'd have any issues. And yeah, that's really all there is for me to say on that. It is definitely a decent enough toughness as far as the quality of the actual core that they used. And yeah, not really any complaints with this. The price will range from about $25 to $40 depending on where you go. So if you're looking to buy it quick, you're probably best off getting it in the retail stores, although you will pay more. If you're not in a hurry, then I would check on like Amazon.com or places like that to get the most bang for your buck out of this knife. So let's go do some tests on this. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take the Cold Steel Tokyo Spike, and I'm first going to layer computer paper, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this listening book, gonna put it right there, and we're going to throw cardboard on top of that, and we're going to see how far this Tokyo Spike's going to penetrate. And here we go. So let's see what happened. Ooh, not quite. Looks like it almost went through. So that went in pretty deep. And let me get this out here. As you can see, nothing's happened to the knife at all. It's still ridiculously sharp. Hey everyone. Okay, so we're back. And as you can see, the knife's a little bit different. The cord got a little messed up, looks like when I did the stab, just because I did it the way you weren't supposed to. Normally when you stab, you're supposed to have your thumb here and like that. And since I did it like this, yeah, it messed up the cord a little bit. Not a big deal though. I mean, it doesn't really affect your grip because you're holding it like this, ideally. But this knife is sharp. I mean, look what it did. Gashed my hand. So make sure that you exercise caution when you're sharpening because this sucker is sharp. Stabbing wise, I think it did pretty good. If you're actually going to be stabbing something that's flesh, I can easily see your blade going all the way through whatever you intend to stab. Because if it went that far into cardboard and paper without slowing down for the most part, you shouldn't have any issues against an actual target. All in all, I would say this is a great carry knife. I would not probably choose this if I wanted a knife as a backup for my tactical setup, just because it's a little short for that purpose. But for having to defend yourself in an environment where you're not in a combat situation, I think it would definitely get the job done, and at a pretty low price point. You know, it's got a good weight to it, but it's still fairly light, which is important because you want the knife to be strong and durable and sharp, but you don't want it to be at the cost of weight. So, yeah, I would say it's a great knife for the price that you pay.